Welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast with Noelle Custis, where we ignite the spark to discover your favorite self. It is time to get real, ladies. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Rise to Shine podcast. I'm your host, Noelle Custis, and today is going to be somewhat short and sweet. Yet at the same time, it is a topic that I believe is so important. Something that I feel like has been such a transformation in my own life, and I'm actually still working on it. And that is the art of listening. It is so powerful. But before we get started today, I wanted to share with you something I am so excited about, something that has been brewing behind the scenes for months now. And it is a brand new, my very own virtual school. Yep, you heard me right. This month, we are launching the Glow Up Mentoring School for Midlife Women to begin in January. And I am squealing over this. I am so excited to share all of the details with you. And I want you to be on the lookout for this, as we will begin a wait list that will be beginning around November 15th. We will also have a super fun challenge that is going to be so fun, so easy, and a way to just get yourself involved early and also to make your holidays a lot less stressful. I want you to think about your own glow up, how you want to show up in this world. It's really meant to be this refreshing space, and it's not going to be about adding another thing to your plate. That is the one thing I want to make very clear. This is a space where you're going to feel seen, you're going to feel heard and known, and better yet, it's going to be a space for your own transformation of becoming the version of yourself that you have been longing for. I want you to think of this as your most favorite self. Now, this is just planting the seed today, my friends. So stay tuned. Make sure you're following on Instagram and Facebook, along with making sure you're on our email list. It is something that I wish I would have had for myself years ago. And I've been working with clients for the last couple of years. I've been listening to all of my clients, and I know that this is going to be the answer for so many of you. So make sure that you're taking a peek at those show notes today for ways to be following Rise to Shine Co. And with that being said, are you guys ready to go for it today? Let's dive into this episode. And as always, I want you to get comfy, whether you're driving in the car, sitting in your favorite cozy chair, maybe taking some notes, or maybe perhaps you're out on a walk or doing laundry and you're just really here anticipating a new perspective. And that is what I want to give to you today. So let me ask you something. Have you ever been, and I want you to really think about this, have you ever been in a conversation where you are just waiting for your turn to speak? Maybe you're nodding along or even jumping in with your own thoughts before they have even finished. I don't know about you, but I would bet to say that we have all been there. But here's the question. What if we're missing out on something much bigger, much more profound? What if by holding back our need, you guys, to respond, we can actually unlock this deep connection? So deep that it actually has the power to transform our relationships and even ourselves. Like I mentioned before, you guys, this space of listening has truly changed my relationships. It has changed me in the way I approach conversations. And I just feel like that In the world that we're living in today, I feel like everybody has something to say, but the ability to truly listen, to like step out of our own thoughts and let someone else's reality sink in, it almost feels as if it's this lost art. And listening can be one of the most powerful gifts that we give, not just to others, but to ourselves. I used to think I knew what listening was. Honestly, I did. I would nod, you look at them in the eye, maybe offer some advice. But over the years, life has taught me that listening goes so much deeper. So during my own divorce, I mean, this is just kind of a personal story that I learned that listening wasn't about responding or fixing. It was about being present in a way that lets someone truly feel seen. I remember reaching out to close friends, hoping for support. And while they meant well, because everybody does, and I think that's where we need to have compassion as well, so many of my friends were just trying to give me advice or trying to fix things because that is what is in our nature, especially as women. But what I really needed was for someone to just sit with me, to hold space for me, and let me share without judgment. That is what I was longing for, is I was longing for not to have judgment. And that's when I began to realize that there's like layers to listening, right? So I feel like the first layer of true listening is simply just being present without the need to fix anything, without the need to answer. It's just more of an act of love, just sitting with your person, sitting with someone and really just being quiet in their presence, no judgment. And then came this other lesson, experiencing the loss of someone close. I found that the most comforting moments weren't filled with words, but were, again, just kind of wrapped in that silence, in the quiet presence of someone who just listened. I felt like when they were listening, it was like this quiet empathy. And it really did feel comforting to know that, just allowing me to process my grief, right? Like no interruptions, just allowing me to process. Because sometimes listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about letting someone actually work through their own emotions on their terms. That was huge for me to realize, man, I just need to process. I just need someone to hear my rambling, the things that maybe aren't making sense so I can figure out my emotions. And then I think it's about suspending our own perspective. So this was probably the biggest transformation, I think, for me, learning to suspend my own perspective. And man, this is hard. This is really hard sometimes, especially during the very, how do I want to say it, charged political season. Can I say that? I recently had a conversation with a friend where our views did not align. And it was hard. I remember the pit in my stomach, and I could feel my own opinions bubbling up. I was like ready to respond. It's like being on the defense, right? Where you're just like, but no, I want to get my point in. But instead, I was like, nope, I'm going to fully listen. I'm going to just choose to listen. And I'm going to do everything I can to do this without judgment. And again, easier said than done, right? But while we didn't have to agree, we left the conversation feeling actually closer than we did before. So I think that was the biggest thing for me, is realizing that listening isn't about agreeing. I know we often feel like it is, but it's really about respecting someone else's like their reality. And sometimes that respect of just accepting their reality, accepting the lens in which they see life through, that is where this deeper connection comes in so much bigger than even agreement. I think we sometimes think that agreement is more powerful, but sometimes it's not. So I feel like today I'm grateful to say that each of these conversations I have feels like a deeper connection, whether it's with my friends, whether it's with my family, maybe it's someone I've just met. I now see that listening is one of the most loving things that we can do. And it's actually taught me to meet people where they are, just as they are. And I feel like it's what it's doing in my life is it's bringing more genuine relationships, even when we don't agree. And I don't know, I feel like listening kind of it helps us to maybe put down some of our walls and also to invite other people in to who they truly are, because we are providing a safe space for someone. I mean, have you ever felt like going to a friend but didn't always feel safe because you were afraid they were going to come at you with judgment? You were afraid they were going to just want to give you the advice and want to fix everything, and that wasn't what you were looking for. So then sometimes it is more stressful. And then you just shut down, and then you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to. So when we're able to give others that kind of space, that impact becomes transformative, and it builds trust. It, it fosters that empathy and gives everyone involved the chance to feel valued. That's the part. We all want to feel valued. I think that's what we're missing in this world, is not feeling valued, that everybody else's opinion is more important than the other. And sometimes we get in these echo chambers and we're only with those like-minded people. And when that happens, we find ourselves not listening. So today, I definitely want to talk about those tips of what does it look like to practice deep listening. Maybe you need to practice this today. Maybe tomorrow you need to practice this. I want to leave you with some of these powerful steps to become a better listener because, like I said, I really do believe that it's going to help us show up better instead of feeling so divided. So, number one, if you want to get out your notes, be present over perfect. Release the pressure to respond perfectly. We're not perfect. Shift that focus from finding the right words to simply being fully present. Just show up with genuine presence, and sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes that's it. Sometimes it's just showing up for someone. Number two, pause before you speak. Ooh, pause before you speak. This is such a lesson on social media, right? Like I want to be like, hello, have you thought about that before you just started ranting and going off on people? Pause. Take a 2-second pause before responding to someone. Even if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to get this out. I'm so mad. I'm so frustrated. Think about when you're, talking with your spouse, or maybe you guys are in a heated argument, or, you're not agreeing on something, or even with your own children. The 2-second pause. This allows the other person to fully finish what they're saying. Because, man, I am guilty of like pouncing. I want to pounce. I want to just be like, well, wait. And then my husband reminds me, let me finish. So I've learned it's like, take that pause. And what it does is it helps us take in the whole message rather than just assuming and jumping in to respond. You guys, the pause is huge. Number 3, mirror and validate. Show that you're listening by mirroring back what the other person said. So this has been really helpful in what I do in conversations that may be a little heated, or, maybe we don't agree on something. It can be as simple as just going, it sounds like you feel, or, okay, I understand why you feel that way. Because when we're mirroring something, and even if you ask, am I hearing you say this? It gives them a chance to feel like they're being understood. And it also gives the other person a chance to be able to say, no, that's not what I meant. Because sometimes we get so like caught up in our words and in what we're saying that we can't even like get it out the right way. How many times have you been in that position where you're like, no, that's not what I mean? And imagine if they only gave you one chance to explain it and they were like, no, that's it. That's it. That's all you got. That's your one chance. And you're like, but that wasn't what I was trying to say. Imagine if that person was listening to you, in which you can then be able to explain yourself maybe more clearly, to where then there comes that understanding. Oh, okay, now I get it. And then number 4, let go of fixing. Remember, your role isn't to fix or solve anything. Sometimes unless they ask, of course, but sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply hold space without advice, like I said, without the judgment, without the solutions. And when we release that need, we actually, again, give other people the freedom to express themselves fully. We give them that freedom. And if they ask, that's different. You can go from there, but just hold space. So I really want to just leave you with a question. Who in your life could you be a better listener for? Who might need you to hold space and honor their reality? Because listening is more than a skill. It is the art of listening. It really is. And it is a doorway to connection. It is a way to bridge the gap and be able to have deeper relationships. And if you screw up, tell them, I messed that up. Can I have a redo? It's practice. It's a muscle that we need to build. And I really do believe that the best listeners have the best relationships. So I invite you to just really take this journey with me, to practice that deep listening in your life. And let's see what happens when we truly get what someone is saying without the need to do anything with it. I think you might just discover the magic of connection and even perhaps compassion for someone that you didn't think you would have compassion for. And really, truly feeling seen. So I hope, like I said, I wanted to make this short and sweet because I do believe that it's easier said than done, but it can be done. And it does change your relationships. I know it to be true. And I am still working on it. I still mess up. But I always go back to those 4 things. Be present over perfect. Pause before you speak, mirror and validate, and let go of fixing. So I hope you have taken a nugget or two from today's episode. My sincere hope is that you resonate with this. And more importantly, I hope that your day is full of peace and lots of understanding. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and know the best is yet to come. Bye, friends.
Thanks for joining me here today. Your presence means the world to me. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider leaving a rating and review, and don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Head to the show notes and let's connect. Rise to Shine Co. is ready to support you in coaching, collaboration, life tips, or even a coffee chat. Until next time, keep shining, my friends.